Hi, this is James Peters with Sky Flight Robotics, and this is the electrical installation video for the Phantom 4 and RedEdge integration kit, designed and provided by Sky Flight Robotics. You will notice in the video that we will be mounting the RedEdge and all the electrical components to the Phantom 4 Pro. It can also be used on the Phantom 4 and the Phantom 4 Advanced, but not the Phantom 4 Pro Plus. So here you'll see in the video we have the RedEdge camera mounted on the rubber isolator mount, and we're installing the electrical power connector. First one, 3-pin, the red, black, and yellow. That gets its power from the battery box and the BEC on the side of the mast. The next one is the 12-inch long connector, which plugs into the side of the camera, which gives you the data inputs from the DLS and the GPS to the camera. You'll notice that each one of these little small pigtails have a connector, so it allows you to disconnect the camera from the aircraft without pulling the Hayruss connectors out of the actual camera body. Now we'll slide it into place. It clicks, it locks in on the dovetail mount. We're just going to kind of feed those wires around the side there, and we're going to get ready to mount the mast. Now here we're cutting the plastic sleeve off from the GPS antenna system. This is necessary to allow you to wrap the wiring around the mast without causing a large bulky mass that could get into the propellers. This is done very easily with a number 11 X-Acto blade. Make sure it's a new X-Acto blade that is sharp. You just score the side of the sleeve, and then you split it open, and then once you get it split, you just pull the wires and they pop right out the side. We didn't cut all the way through, we just scored it. Now you'll bend it over like such and then cut the plastic sleeve off flush right along the sides. Just be very careful not to nick the wires. I've done several of these with never nicking the wires. You just have to be very careful in just scoring. Now we're going to clean the side of the helicopter using alcohol or acetone. I prefer just to use alcohol, but if you have acetone and don't soak the rag, that works is even better because it kind of softens the plastic just slightly. Now you'll see on the side here the gel cellophane has an arrow pointing up. It's a double thickness on that gel adhesive. Now you're going to snap it into the bottom skid. Once you clip it in, you're going to hold the clip up so it doesn't touch the helicopter, and then center the mast into the lowest part right there where the V shape is. Now slide it down to where you're just above the two side vision sensors. Push in place and hold. Wiggle it around a little bit, and now it's locked in. It's got at least a 15-pound hold on that gel adhesive. It'll hold up to 15 pounds. So now we're going to connect the power wire off the BEC to the camera. That clicks in. Really nice connectors. They're locking type connectors. They're aerospace grade, aerospace wiring, Teflon tin coated copper wiring. We're going to position the 6-pin now, and now we're going to do a positioning of the DLS and the GPS just to get an idea of the real estate that we're going to need on the top mounting plate. But first we're going to take and click in the 4-pin compass connector that comes off the GPS module. That snaps into the DLS, and now the 6-pin GPS connector that clicks into the DLS as well. We want to make sure and connect these first before you stick them onto the mast, otherwise you won't get them into the components. Make sure they're in, give them a little tug, and now we're going to just do a real estate check. We're going to kind of see how we're going to visualize how this all sits up here. GPS in front, DLS in back, both arrows pointing forward on each component. And then once we're happy with how it's going to look, you split the difference there. Each component gets half of that space. Now we're going to connect the 6-pin 12-inch long communication cable that comes from the DLS sensor down to the RedEdge M. And this connector is a little tricky sometimes. You got to push it in with a little bit of force. You just want to make sure the pins are lined up properly so you don't damage anything, and just kind of make sure those are snapped in there. Give it a little tug and to see if it's, see it still needs to be pushed in. Sometimes you'll think they're pushed in, but they're not. Now you push it in, it'll click. Once you're happy with that, then you'll take and fold that wire over on a 90 degree like I'm going to show right here in the video. Now it's locked in. Fold it over like that, 90 degrees. That's how it's going to feed down the side of the mast. So now we're going to pull the cellophane tape off the adhesive gel. Use an X-Acto blade, number 11. Same one you used to score the compass sheathing with. Peel that off. Now you're ready to bond. You'll start with the GPS module first. Make sure the wires don't get in on that because it'll stick. Split the difference of the real estate on top of the plate. Push and twist. Make sure that the arrows are pointed forward. Do the same on the DLS. Make sure the wires are not in the way. Align it. Push and twist. Now take the wiring from the GPS to the DLS and wrap it in a counterclockwise rotation. It just so happens that the length of this wire is absolutely perfect to go 2 wraps around and then connect underneath the DLS mounting lugs. It acts as like a little wire retention system, and then pull the 6-pin GPS to RedEdge cabling down the side of the mast, and then kind of push everything down in the wires down into the gel tape. And then we will come back later here in a few seconds and tie wrap everything in place. So now you can run the wires down to the 6-pin connector, snap that in. Now all connections are made. The camera is actually ready to function at this point, but now we have to tie wrap the wiring in place to make sure nothing gets caught up into the propellers on the helicopter. See, I'm pulling the wiring from the bottom just a little bit to straighten it out. And now we'll start with the 4 tie wraps that are included in the Sky Flight Robotics integration kit. The very first one wraps around the top right up where the joint is. And if for some reason your mount plate is a little bit crooked, you can loosen that Phillips screw up and reposition that mount plate to get it exactly perpendicular to the helicopter. Now the first one's in, that holds the wires up tight right around the mast area. Now the next one goes right above the clip, and you go through the lightning holes and then tie the wiring up tight with the tie wrap. You don't go around the whole mast, you go between half the mast, between the lightning holes in the center, and funnel the wiring down the back, the back half that's closest to the helicopter. So now I got the one above the clip. Now I'm going to do the one below the clip. I'm pulling the wiring tight from the bottom, and I'll put the next one in. There's 4 of them, so we got 3. Actually, the 4th one goes back up at the top and conjoins the wires that we did the counterclockwise wrap with. I did not show that in this video that well, but you'll see it when you finally get yours done. You'll see how you want to have everything kind of, and you can put additional. Now you see how it snaps on and off really nice and easy. Just want to make sure when you snap this on and off, you don't want to pinch those wires in that clip. The newer version of this, which will be coming out here in another month or 2, will have a wire trace that actually the wires will be in a channel that runs down the side. Now here we are out flying. We're done. We're flying. You'll notice that the aircraft is very stable. It maps very nicely. It doesn't even really know that this extra weight is on there. I mean, if you're going to fly aerobatics, obviously, but this is a mapping mission we're on. You can use the RGB color camera in conjunction with the RedEdge, so you can pick up a really nice image with both cameras while you're out flying. Everybody that has these loves them. We've sold them all around the world, and they've had great success. Thank you for buying for Sky Flight Robotics.